Tonight in Tennessee, one of the nation's most meteoric soccer clubs meets one of the country's most historic. It's top four Nashville soccer clubs smashing into the Charleston Battery. A critical late summer matchup is next in Germantown. It is game night for Nashville Soccer Club, and the lights are on again at First Tennessee Park for another match day under Music City's changing skyline. Only two sunsets have passed since the boys in gold walked off this pitch after a controversial loss to New York, and now a rash of injuries, certain fatigue, and the well-rested Charleston Battery to battle in a crucial 90 minutes of USL Championship soccer. Before it all begins, we want to welcome you up to our broadcast booth. I'm John Freeman, joined by Ronnie Woodard. It's Nashville's third match of this week. And, well, partner, how do they battle the fatigue tonight?
Well, the first thing Nashville needs to do is move on. They've done all that they can to lessen the sting of the loss. They've focused on regeneration for the players to get their bodies healed. And now it's time to focus on how to get 3 points. So how do you combat fatigue and get 3 points? You shake up the lineup. We're going to see a different formation for Nashville tonight, and we're going to see new bodies in there that should have fresh legs.
We'll have the lineup in our next segment, but first let's go down to the field to our Kelly Glendenning.
Thanks, John. Earlier today, I asked head coach Gary Smith how he plans to manage tonight's lineup considering they've had 3 matches in 8 days. Here's what he said.
Well, there'll be 6 changes for the team tonight. So there's some, as I said, there's some fresher legs. There's a bit of enthusiasm and energy. Not that the guys that come out lack that, but at the end of the week, having put in a really big shift on Wednesday, especially for 30 minutes with 10 men, I felt it was necessary to have a little bit more of a shake-up than usual. The guys coming in are going to be looking to make an impression. There's a slight difference in the way that we're going to play today, and my hope is we can get on the front foot and we can start the game as brightly as we have, and maybe that change in shape and change in personnel gives us the push that we need.
This is the second time in August that Nashville SC have had 2 weeks where they've had 3 matches in 8 days. The first time they accumulated 7 out of 9 points. John?
Up next, as points on the mind of Nashville tonight and a point to prove against Charleston, the Battery. They've defeated Nashville in USL action already and launched them out of the Open Cup. What will the third match this season hold? We'll find out next from First Tennessee Park. For the second time in just 4 days, First Tennessee Park ready for soccer. In Wednesday's midweek clash with New York Red Bulls 2, Nashville scored first, yet finished down a man, down a goal, and without a point. It has led to 6 changes, and here they are, the starting 11 for the home side. Gary Smith, he's revealed a 3-5-2. It does not include leading scorer Daniel Rios, who will not play tonight with injury. Cameron Lancaster injected into the front line. Ken Tribbett descends from the midfield to replace Forrest Lasso at center back, where he teams with Jimmy Ockford.
Ockford has been rock solid since his arrival in mid-July. He's a patient defender who possesses a solid ability in the air, and his range of passing is simple, tight, and concise.
Go ahead and take a look at the visitors for the South Carolinians. They did not play midweek, had a full week of rest in Low Country, where earlier this year they displayed a 3-4-3 in matches versus Nashville, but they opt for a 4-4-2 where Taylor Mueller anchors the back, and Tom Brian Anunga is one of the top next-level prospects in the league.
Well, Anunga's physical strength is one of his greatest attributes. He's mobile and covers a tremendous amount of ground in the midfield. But one of his greatest talents is his ability to play the ball into the final third through the seams of the defense.
Picturesque summer night here in Nashville. Low 80 degrees, just a few clouds hanging over the stadium. A nice breeze from left to right across the playing field. Well, for a Nashville Soccer Club that has spent the summer flying past records and soaring to the highest altitudes of the Eastern Conference standings, it must now place its weary legs on the ground and dig. First dig in, then deep, and then out of this fatigue-induced complication. Nashville in the gold that has seen its share of glory this season. We find out tonight if that gold has a little grit in it too. The club's third match of the week whistled to life. They go again in Tennessee, and the Battery immediately on the front foot. Our referee tonight is Guido Gonzalez, who oversees his 7th USL Championship match of the season tonight. In his previous 6 matches this year, Gonzalez has brandished 2 red cards and awarded 3 penalties. Here's the player we highlighted, Anunga, linking up with Nelson, and the cross came in right to the feet of the Bermudan Zico Lewis and sent wide. It will be a Nashville throw-in. The Vanderbilt Health Injury Report. The headliner is Daniel Rios, who was listed as questionable but does not make the game day 18 tonight. Elsewhere, Michael Reed out for the season, and Derek Jones still rehabbing from an Open Cup injury suffered against the Battery in a contest played in Murfreesboro. Here's Piggott. Switch wide for the overlapping Nelson. Into the trajectory of Zico Lewis, and out for a Nashville goal kick. Interesting, Ronnie. Charleston, the 3-4-3 against Nashville earlier this year, had success both on the road in the Open Cup and at home in South Carolina, but they elect to change their formation tonight, the 4-4-2.
Yeah, it's interesting. Both clubs came out in a different formation tonight. You know, Charleston's had a week to prepare, and I'm assuming they must have watched enough game tape of Nashville to warrant a change in their formation. And then Nashville then comes back and changes theirs to accommodate the fatigue factor of the 3 games in 7 days, along with some injuries that have occurred.
And it's musical chairs with the suspension of Forrest Lasso. Ken Tribbett drops down from the midfield to play center back. Opens up space in the midfield unit for Matt LaGrassa to slip into the starting lineup. Here's Anunga, closed down by Lebo Maloto. Pursuing is Cameron Lancaster, back in the lineup. Played spot duty against Charlotte last weekend. Did not feature versus New York Red Bulls 2 on Wednesday night. Nagashi. Van Schaik switching the point of attack to Nelson. Angelo Kelly dispossessed by Ockford. Now the flag did not go up. One of the Charleston players thought that ball had gone out of bounds before it left the foot of Ockford, and the Charleston player handled the ball with his hands. The flag of the assistant referee did not go up, and therefore it's a set piece for Nashville on the handball violation.
Well, and you know, that happened in the match on Wednesday night against New York Red Bulls too. It happened closer to the sideline, but someone reached down to pick up the ball before it had actually gone out of bounds, and the linesman had appropriately flagged.
Roped in by Melodo, flicked along by Mensah, and Kuzminski watches it out. This match included 6 of Nashville's last 9 matches to finish the season will be at home. However, the team has actually performed better on the road. They're right at the league average in points per game at home. They have the most away points in the entire USL at 27 points this season. Rarely do you see a team perform better on the road. What do you think the reasoning is? I mean, it could be a mixture of opponents, Ronnie, but also in this league, it often seems like the away team sits back and counterattacks, and that can sometimes be a detriment to Nashville when they play at home.
Well, yeah, and you know, possibly just to take a different approach when you're on the road, and teams aren't expecting the visiting team to press and to get after you right from the very beginning. So that's potentially some of the difference that occurs.
Well, fans, keep up to date with us all season long. Follow our journey to Major League Soccer at NashvilleSC.com. Hoisted high by Tribbett. Nodded forward by Darnell King. Cleaned up nicely by Leland Archer. Storing was Bourgeois over the back of Higashi. And an aerial foul for the player who has not started a match since early July, Bradley Bourgeois. Found playing time very hard to come by with the addition of Forrest Lasso and Jimmy Ockford on loan.
Good muscle through that tackle by Matt LaGrassa.
Pushing off Tabrian Anunga.
Which is no easy feat. One of his greatest attributes, as we talked about in the pregame, is his physical strength.
Mensah uses hand to control the possession. Zorpapa turned 22 years old this week. 9 straight games without a goal. At one point, that streak was a little shorter because he thought he had scored against Hartford. The league took a look at the replay. They deemed that goal in the Hartford match actually an own goal against Hartford Athletic. And therefore, Mensah's streak of games without a goal has been stretched to 9. Rarely does he start, though, just his 7th start of the season. Charleston, guided by Mike Anhauser, who at 50 years old has spent exactly half of his life dedicated to the Battery, played for the team in the mid-90s, became an assistant coach in Low Country, and then took the reins as head coach back in 2005.
You know, in this day and age of the jockeying of sports coaches from place to place in professional sports, it's nice to see some loyalty from the Charleston Battery. Gosh, listen to me today. The Charleston Battery, and also coach back in return. It's nice to see something like that in a tenure like that.
Ropapa Mensah bombarding forward. Covering to momentarily extinguish the attack was Nelson. Melodo's been chopped down, and a free kick in a promising position for Nashville SC. Take a look at the foul called by Guido Gonzalez.
Yeah, lovely little touch by Lebo Melodo. Chopped around. just didn't, good contact there. But this is a very dangerous spot for Nashville. Lebo Moloto can serve a really fabulous ball onto his target. And he's got some good ones that are in the box right now.
Ken Tribbett, Bradley Bourgeois, and Jimmy Ockford, the center backs forward. It's sent in right on top in front of Ockford, and could not get an outstretched boot to divert it onto the frame.
Would have loved to have seen a little dive from Ockford onto that ball on the far post. Good little bent ball in, nice texture on it from Lebo Moloto. Just a little skip right in front of Ockford.
Meanwhile, Matt Pickens leaping off his line to dispel a quick counterattack from Charleston off the goal kick, which they took quickly. LaGrassa, an incisive pass to Moloto with Ropapa-Mensah to his left. Here's the young Ghanaian, slowed down by Kelly. Picks out LaGrassa, selecting Darnell King. And the touch far below his high standards. Nashville led by 50-year-old Gary Smith, who remarkably can count on one hand the clubs he's faced more than 3 times in his career and has never defeated. The Charleston Battery is in that count, the team he's faced the most without victory. Next week's opponent, the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Nashville in the second of a 4-game stretch, which they play opponents that they as a club have never defeated. Tampa Bay next, and then St. Louis on the road. Season dwindling down, an important match here at First Tennessee Park. Moloto is the pivot point. Davis pondering the cross, sends it low towards Cameron Lancaster. Oh, it's a neat back heel towards Mensah and destroyed by Archer. Lancaster again causing problems. He failed link up with Davis.
I do like Justin Davis's decision to drive that ball into the feet of Lancaster instead of just serving that ball into the far post. And Cameron Lancaster, sharp touch, under pressure, inside the box, was able to turn, maintain possession. I think if Nashville can continue to have a diversity in their attack like that, where they can drive a ball into one of the 2 front runners, Lancaster or Ropapa, plus serve balls into the box to try and isolate the wing players, I think that could be really successful tonight.
So no Daniel Rios tonight for Nashville SC due to injury. Cameron Lancaster steps into his place, a player who has been injured much of this season. Lancaster missing 11 matches due to injury this year. He is replaced tonight. Daniel Rios there on the left, and Forrest Lasso, who was suspended via red card on the right. Rios leading the USL Eastern Conference with 17 goals this season. Still chasing Solomon Asante of Phoenix Rising, who played last night and did not score.
Which is a rarity for him. No penalties last night?
Asante is well behind Rios in the run of play standings, but has taken 9 penalty kicks this year.
As I said,
to Rios' 3.
No one took him down last night.
Been a busy week for the supporters. Wednesday night match and then a quick turnaround. It was Gary Smith who told us these are the toughest games. The one on Saturday after a Wednesday match. Not necessarily worried when his team plays on a Saturday and then plays on a Wednesday, but it's the quick turnaround midweek to weekend that scares him the most. And
well, it's really difficult to unpack a game from Wednesday. Normally you'll have a rhythm where you can unpack it on Thursday, regenerate, and then refocus. But when you have very little time in between, you're unpacking and preparing for your next opponent at the same time.
We talked to Gary Smith the day after the loss to New York. He said, quote, "I've rarely turned the page as quickly as I did last night," speaking of Wednesday night against New York Red Bulls too.
Again, there was no choice. What a great rhythm by Nashville right there. Up, back, through.
It's Justin Davis who's ventured forward. The cross comes in towards Ropapa-Mensah. And the pass divided Moloto and Mensah. And the covering defender slams it out for the Coca-Cola corner kick.
So the build-up to get to Justin Davis was fantastic. And Justin Davis lays a ball in. His target is obviously Ropapa-Mensah on the back post, but it's deflected slightly before it gets to him. But the up-back-through movement of Nashville with the ball movement was brilliant, and that final ball in from Ropapa to Davis, and then continued his run on.
Corner comes in from Melodo. Hands up in the air, appealing for a corner kick, and Guido Gonzalez points towards the goal for a goal kick. Charleston, the oldest continuously operating professional soccer club in the United States. 26 years.
You know, I was there the first year they played in Charleston.
4 years older than this man, Ropapa-Mensah. Still Mensah. Oh, he split the defender. Ropapa-Mensah! Deflected out and wide. But the young Ghanaian causing problems in the back line of the battery.
Craftiness and creativity right there on that end line, trying to draw defenders in, chops on them, gets that left foot, and then he decides that's not the angle he wants, and he pulls it back in again. Tries to chip it in. It was deflected right before it gets into the goal, but lovely little bout of trickery from Ropapa-Mensah.
Second Coca-Cola corner kick for Nashville in the 15th minute. Mensah again. Slammed off a defender. And Lebo Melodo will have a chance to recalibrate from the far side. Hoisted in. And chased down by Anunga. Couldn't get there fast enough. It'll be a Nashville throw.
Keep up to date with us all season long and follow our journey to Major League Soccer at NashvilleSC.com. Become a member of the fan club, sign up for our newsletter with the Nashville Scoop, and browse content, merchandise, ticket offers, promotions, and more. That's at NashvilleSC.com. See the latest team content on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at our handle, NashvilleSC.
Yeah, I don't mind that ball from Lebo Melodo into Cameron Lancaster's feet. Cameron Lancaster's got to make his body a little bit wider and maintain possession of that ball, because Lebo Melodo's movement off of that to receive a 1-2 was fantastic, and it was precise in the movement, and they could have broken down a 2 versus 2 on that flank and gotten themselves in a good position.
Justin Davis has been chopped down right between the benches. Guido Gonzalez over to check on the fallen boy in gold. If fans see the latest team content on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at our handle at NashvilleSC. Down on the sideline, close to the commotion, is our Kelly Glendinning.
John, before kickoff, I got to speak with head coach Gary Smith about Charleston, and like you guys have mentioned, they've met twice now in 2015, and he did say the Battery will be a challenge tonight for these reasons. They're coached well, and, quote, they're rugged, organized, and physically well-equipped. He feels that the Open Cup match against Charleston was actually a really bright spot, and he wants to build on that performance. John?
Thank you very much, Kelly. Rugged and physically well-equipped.
I think there are a lot of teams and players that wouldn't mind being described in that manner. Athletes wouldn't mind being described in that manner. Male or female.
Here's a player that's rugged. To give you an example, it's Taylor Mueller, the man with the face mask. 2 surgeries this season, one to fix a broken nose, and the other to heal a hand. And he starts tonight at center back in his 201st professional appearance for Charleston. Other rugged player is that man right there, Tom Brian Anunga. Doesn't necessarily stand out when you watch a game, but coaches and players in the know rave about his abilities. He was selected to the USL first 11 last year. Actually trialed with Minnesota United in Major League Soccer in the preseason before making his way back to Charleston, but regarded as a major MLS prospect.
Well, there's no doubt he's the engine of the midfield. His defensive shape is excellent. His ability to pressure the ball and his timing is very good. But he also has the ability to play a final ball and break down a defense.
Here's Anunga prospecting. Rare spell of possession for Charleston. Rolled into a contest by Kuzminski and downloaded by Darnell King. Let's take a little more of that beat of the be a free kick for Charleston in the 20th minute. Zico Lewis, 6 goals this season to lead the team. Spent some time away from the club to participate in the Gold Cup for his native Bermuda. Island of about 55,000 people. Less population than the city of Franklin, just south of Nashville. He is one of their premier players. He is the player poised to address this free kick. Nelson and Svantesson are the targets in the 18. It heads back post towards Archer, denied by Tribbett. Now Higashi. Anunga is always running away from it. Well, fans get Nashville SC updates and alerts all year long by clicking follow on ESPN.com.
I like that roadie shirt, "You Can Sing With Us," which is exactly what the supporters do the entire game. Get together, they write new songs. It really is such a great culture that they're creating.
Nelson. Piggott. Nelson has crept forward. Pass under the feet of Kelly, who recollects with Lewis. Lofted in, Matt Pickens off his line. And beats a Honduran Angelo Kelly to it. So Gary Smith's game plan, Ronnie, said he wants to engage the 2 forwards, Ropapa-Mensah and Cameron Lancaster, and get the most out of them. Both of them happy to be starting, thinking that they would take the opportunity to excel. Wants to take advantage of this different formation for Nashville, a 3-5-2. And mostly wants his team to get over the mental fatigue of losing a chance to go top of the table, which they did on Wednesday night. For just a moment, they were top of the table in the live standings, then crashing down to 3rd to start the evening after losing to New York Red Bulls 2 on Wednesday. Not many chances so far in this one.
Methodical right now. Nashville steps on the ball, takes it back if they don't see any penetrating ball that can get in. Important they keep their patience. Right in that space, Bolu got a little impatient and gave up the ball.
This is neat combination work between Lancaster and Mensah, and Lancaster was offside. The flag is up. If he scores tonight, will be his 50th professional soccer goal. 43 of them coming already in the USL.
Yeah, from our angle, we didn't have the same line of sight that the linesman did. But the Charleston defense agreed that it was offside to begin with. But then Cameron Lancaster's high boot was a little bit reckless inside, that potentially if he hadn't been whistled for offside, he could have had that type of foul called too.
Ambitious effort from Lewis. Nashville goal kick in front of their supporters. It's Matt Pickens as well, chasing a milestone. 99 career clean sheets for Matt Pickens. 9 of them coming in his 16 matches this season. It was Connor Sparrow who started on Wednesday night. The 2 goals that Sparrow gave up through no fault of his own.
No, you know,
here's Darnell King. The cross is a good one. It's spun high. Kuzminski off his line. It's touched by King. And this time, the second bite at it for Taylor Mueller, and he makes no mistake about it.
Oh, Kuzminski got lucky on that situation. He came flying off of his line, and there was such a backspin on this ball that it was just misjudged. Look at this. He's coming flying off his line, and he never even saw Darnell King right there. Very fortunate situation for Kuzminski.
Appeals for a handball here. Instead, it's King. Trying to dig out of pressure in the corner. He's won a throw-in. Higashi. Intercepted by Ockford.
Good job by Matt LaGrosse at getting that ball in a tight space and switching the point of attack. Exactly what Nashville needs to continue to do to unbalance this defense.
Just behind LaGrosse. Nelson pursued by Akinyoti. Ball finally settles for Van Schaik. No nonsense from Bradley Bourgeois.
Good thing they had those nets up. Caught a fan having a conversation.
Kelly. Lofted ball, taken in by Nelson. Here comes Charleston. Feet of their center back. Crafty footwork from Lancaster. And he sent Ropapa-Mensah into a track meet with Archer. Mensah trialing Archer. Takes him to the right. It's still Ropapa-Mensah. Sprayed it wide. He is a handful when he is isolated.
The one thing you don't want to see is Ropapa-Mensah coming at you in a 1-versus-1 situation. Look at that. That quick little chop back, trying to go back to that back post, close to having it on frame, creates havoc with the ball at his feet. Ropapa-Mensah is one of the most dangerous players on the Nashville roster.
7 touches, 3 shots.
He's come
it's
to
like
play.
A basketball stat.
Well, and the thing is, he's getting most of the balls within 18 yards of frame, if you think about it. And he's faced up, and he's gotten after him.
Ian Svantesson bodying Ockford. Svantesson in a crowd. Forfeits possession back to Nashville. Meloto through for Ropapa-Mensah. A chance for the breakthrough. It's Ropapa-Mensah, turned away by Kuzminski.
Great save by Kuzminski, going to ground.
Nashville still knocking on the door, and no longer after Archer parries the ball away.
It's a great isolation touch by Ropapa-Mensah. He gets in, he opens up his hips. Kuzminski makes himself big, takes it off of the body. Great save by Kuzminski. Perfect angle of attack by him. Excellent save.
4 shots already for Ropapa-Mensah. Davis, Lancaster combining with Mensah. It's Lancaster, save again. 2 saves for Joe Kuzminski. Keep Nashville scoreless.
Darnell King was 1 step off of getting that rebound save from Kuzminski, but then he basically had a hip check and drops to the ground. Hard tackle. Great strike by Lancaster. Keeps it low. It's got some bend, but then there it is, the collision right there inside the box.
You watch the rebound here. It's the knee into the leg of King.
The strike by Cameron Lancaster, though, was superb. Faces up.
If you've played sports, you get a knee to the thigh area, it hurts more when you stop moving.
Oh, and it'll hurt later tonight, too. So Kuzminski's come up very big in the last couple of plays down. Nashville has been threatening, and Kuzminski's been rock solid thus far.
Flag is up. Offside on Piggott. Darnell King walking it off. Player who had started 2 straight games until Wednesday night. He was brought in. He was 2nd team All-USL last year. 6 straight seasons, over 2,000 minutes, but guaranteed less than that already this year. Had a hard time breaking into the lineup with Kosuke Kimura holding a grip on the right back position.
Well, and the transition to being an outside back, that was Coach Smith's, experiment this year, and he's been quite pleased with his versatility of being able to play as a winger and as a right back.
We also want to welcome a few very special Nashville SC fans celebrating their birthday with us this evening.
Charleston pinned back. Punch towards Mensah. That last touched a battery head. It'll be a Nashville corner kick. Hey fans, Major League Soccer is almost here, and season tickets are now available. Ticket packages start at just $25 a match, and payment plans are available to purchase your 2020 MLS season tickets. All you got to do is go to visit NashvilleSC.com. A Coca-Cola corner kick, 32nd minute. It's Justin Davis. Svantesson, the towering forward at 6'6", back to defense. Sent in near post. Nearly latched onto by Lancaster. Last man back is King.
Well, that was an easy cleanup for King. Charleston cleared the ball, but they had no target. They had all 11 men back inside of the box to defend that corner kick, showing a tremendous amount of respect for Nashville's ability on set pieces.
Anunga has clattered into LaGrassa. Nashville soldiers on. It's Lancaster, it's curling. Right into the basket of Kuzminski. And Matt LaGrassa is hobbling towards the sideline. Checking his hand for blood, perhaps. Yep, there's the towel from Sidney Wolf, the trainer. Had a collision with Brian Anunga. Just 2 tanks crashing into each other.
Besides the cut, one of LaGrassa's main concerns is keeping the blood off of his jersey, because that's a very big concern with the re-entry into a match. players are not allowed to re-enter into a match if they have any type of blood on their jersey.
This matchup in the midfield of Anunga versus LaGrassa, one of the best midfield battles that you'll see in the USL.
And now Nashville has to hold on while they evaluate and assess LaGrassa to see if he can re-enter the match, because they're playing a man down right now while they're waiting for him to be assessed and managed.
So we asked Gary Smith about Matt LaGrassa, if you could relate him, speaking of the coach, if Gary Smith could relate him to any player that people often watch on Saturday mornings, and the name that he came up with was Jordan Henderson. Liverpool midfielder, captained his team to the Champions League final.
I would say that's a nice comparison, wouldn't you?
Likes him for his leadership, his tenacity, also his durability. I know he's been hurt recently, but for the most part of his career in Nashville, he's been one of Gary Smith's Iron Men.
How about his bite defensively? I mean, he's got
There's a blast from distance over the crossbar from Piggott.
He's got great leadership, but he also has a tremendous competitive spirit.
Let's take a look at why Matt LaGrassa has his head bleeding. It's a collision. Watch the boot from Anunga. Oh, it's that trailing elbow.
It's the elbow. And he's definitely slit his eye. I think they put some butterflies on it, trying to get the bleeding stopped so he can re-enter. Little glue on that post-game, be good as new.
Been an incredibly busy week for Nashville's training staff, Sydney Wolf and Stacey Daniels. On a pool recovery, the team's been known to use cryotherapy, compression technology. At one point last year, Bradley Bourgeois was sleeping in a hyperbaric chamber, I believe, to recover from an injury. Now just some classic glue to get Matt LaGrassa back in.
I think they got a steri strip on it. He'll have quite the black eye, and I imagine a little bit of glue from the doc. Post-game, halftime. Good as new.
Running on is Lancaster. It's appealing that Joe Kuzminski had the final touch. Will be a goal kick. Hey fans, follow Nashville SC and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS, and more. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. Olibo Maloto has blown right by Nelson. Lancaster awaiting the cross. Pulls back for Davis. First time service in a tricky area. It's Mensah. Watched over by Kuzminski.
Papa Mensah has had a productive 36 minutes. He's found himself in good situations, in good spots on the field. He hasn't gotten the end product, but he's got step one correct, which is the work rate. Step two is the timing of his runs and the first touch that he possesses. And now step three is what can he do with the final product.
So the newly bandaged Matt LaGrassa shipping down the line to Mensah. For Lancaster, sent it behind the Englishman. Charleston eager to build out of the back. Embargo by Darnell King.
How about that athleticism by Darnell King? I'm going to take a touch, get knocked to the ground. I'm going to get up and have a brilliant touch after it before the defender even moves.
Davis towards Mensah. Downloaded into the penalty area and muscled off the ball by Leland Archer. Down is Svantesson. Jimmy Ockford, his 8th game in gold on loan from the San Jose Earthquakes of Major League Soccer. Van Schaik. Falls back to Van Schaik. Nashville will work out of tight quarters. With space in front is Davis. Closed down by the speedy Zico Lewis. It's a pass into a dangerous area, recovered by LaGrassa. Route one from Bourgeois. Easily dealt with by Archer.
Now that's what Bradley Bourgeois does best. His aerial game and his timing to win 50-50 balls in the midfield, in the box, on set pieces. It's definitely his greatest trademark.
It's Angelo Kelly who's down. Player who was born in Honduras, raised in Iowa. Played his college soccer at Tiny William Penn in the Midwest. Enrollment of 1,050. Worked his way up the USL soccer chain, playing for Mississippi Bria back in 2017, and finding his way to the Charleston Battery, finding himself in the middle of a sandwich between LaGrassa and Bourgeois. Well, soccer fans, get your official Nashville SC gear, including MLS styles, online at NashvilleSC.com. Anunga. '41st minute. Charleston has rarely threatened in this half. Visitors recycle from their back line. Jared Van Schaik. Oh, he's picked out Higashi, but at the edge of the penalty area. Nashville sets sail on a counterattack. It's Ropapa-Mensah, a wonderfully worked ball in stride to Darnell King. Here comes Lancaster too. It's King alone. Clanged off of Archer. Few appeals for a handball. And it will be a Nashville throw after a breakneck speed counter.
It's a solid counterattack. I love the ball from Ropapa-Mensah. Finds the seam, gets Darnell King running at. Does Darnell King make the right decision? It's his prep touch that takes him lateral and allows Archer to be able to get a bigger body to deflect that ball. Maybe he could have taken it to the end line, drew the ball back, and played into Lancaster.
Mensah posting up. Away from pressure is Kelly. And further away from Higashi. Spontason is offside. So Charleston as well down their best striker tonight. Atula Guerra was listed as doubtful with a groin injury. He is not in the 18 tonight.
Both strikers on both sides nursing groin injuries or nursing groin fatigue too at the same time. Doesn't necessarily have to be an injury.
Nashville this season, on average, scoring by the 34th minute in their matches. Charleston, a team that likes to score later in matches. It's Higashi who sliced through and he scored! The Battery have the breakthrough. And this club continues to torment their Tennessee opponent. It's Kotaro Higashi on their first true venture forward into the penalty area, and he strikes past Pickens, who slams his fist to the earth in disgust.
Higashi's first touch was very nice facing up, but he popped it up, and I believe it was an errant touch by his own, but he's just so quick and crafty that he kept his run going on and isolated Jimmy Ockford 1 versus 1, kept the ball low, and ends up with a goal against the run of play. For all intents and purposes, the first half has belonged with more chances, and more of the tempo was created from Nashville, and here they find themselves down 1-0 a minute and a half before halftime.
Just the 3rd goal in his Charleston career for Higashi, a player who just 3 years ago was in the German 6th division, thought his soccer career might be over, paid his way to try out with the Battery, and now finds himself on the score sheet against one of the USL's title contenders. Is there more here for the Battery to close out the half? It's Lewis cutting back against Bourgeois. Kelly. Lewis. Van Schaik. Nashville chasing. Gary Smith told us right after a goal in a game, he likes his team to get possession back very quickly, trying to unsettle the opponent. And Charleston on the other end has had almost exclusive use of the ball since they went ahead. Van Schaik carrying his team into the attacking third. Stalked by Akinyoti. 2 minutes of added time here in this first half that has been turned on its head by Kotaro Higashi. Nelson with room to roam. Shepherded out by Darnell King. Well, Nashville with 6 changes in its lineup, playing its 3rd match in a week. They have had their chances in this first half. Several saves from Joe Kuzminski. Charleston had its chance and took it. Davis foraging from the far flank. It's still Justin Davis combining with Mensah. The touch is heavy. It's spinning towards the target, and it will be a goal kick for the Battery. The mass defender, Taylor Mueller. Check of the watch from Guido Gonzalez. Just seconds remaining at a shocked First Tennessee Park.
At this point, Nashville's going to be happy to get to the locker room. Down 1-0, let them regroup.
Guido Gonzalez ends the first half. Nashville had the majority of the possession, the majority of the opportunities. And there's the man who scores the goal to send Charleston ahead, Kotaro Higashi. On their first shot on goal of the night, it finds its way past Matt Pickens, and it sends Charleston to the dressing room leading 1-0. It is our halftime presented to you by Nissan. Nashville with its back against the wall now, trying to avoid back-to-back home losses. Boys in gold, a chance to regroup from the dressing rooms. Gary Smith, a chance to talk it over with his team. Nashville had their chances, could not convert. Charleston goes ahead from Kotaro Higashi, and after 45 minutes of soccer at First Tennessee Park, it's 1-0 Charleston at half. Our halftime, presented to you by Nissan, is next.
Welcome to Halftime, presented by Nissan. Nashville SC released updated MLS stadium renderings this week, and CEO Ian Ayre sat down to dive into what makes this design uniquely Nashville. Here's more.
Well, I think when we conceptualized what we were trying to build for Nashville Soccer Club and for Nashville, was one of the briefs that we had was to make it uniquely Nashville. So the most exciting thing, I think, is to know that it really fits into that neighborhood, and we wanted to make it feel like it's always been there to a degree. And I think seeing the design, seeing the rendering, seeing its proximity to the city, there's some great shots from a drone dropped onto the real skyline, and I think all of those things make it look like this should be here in Nashville for the soccer. We feel excited about the fact that, working with our supporters, we have the opportunity to bring that to life with them. If you look across MLS and look across global soccer, that the thing that makes these stadiums great is the atmosphere that's created by supporters and fans. So having a dedicated entrance, having a focal point where they not only stand in the stadium but where they come into the stadium at the start. What we want to do on match day is bring together music, food and soccer to create a uniquely Nashville soccer experience. And I think to do that in Nashville is so important. It's all of the constituent parts that make Nashville great, and we'll be the headliner, but I think our supporters and our fans will bring that to life. Right throughout the whole stadium, whether it's a premium or general admission or just on the concourses, we will have something that's kind of different and fits. So whatever your thing is, whatever your budget is, whatever your appetite is, we'll find a solution, and that's really been our mandate from the start. So the premium sections will serve that in the same way. Let's make no mistake, this will become the spiritual home of Nashville Soccer Club. So it has to fit within that. It has to look, iconic for Nashville. It has to look like the place that we want to make our fortress. And some of the renderings give you an early sense of that, and obviously as we progress we'll get more and more detail around that, but it's an exciting time.
stats and standings are up next. Stay tuned for more halftime presented by Nissan.
First Tennessee Park stunned by a late first half goal from Kotaro Higashi in the 43rd minute. It sends the teams into the dressing rooms with the Charleston Battery leading 1-0 over Nashville SC. It is our halftime presented to you by Nissan. John Freeman joined by Ronnie Woodard. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats in this first half. Charleston scored on its only shot on target.
Yeah, I mean, they had 2 shots inside the box, 1 on target, and it goes in the back of the net. A poor commitment from Nashville to stop the person with the ball inside the box in a dangerous place. He's dribbling, he's faced up, he's obviously has one intent in mind. And, you know, Higashi finishes his one opportunity, and it's a backbreaker for the first half for Nashville Soccer Club. They had 7 shots inside of the box, 3 of those being on target, 3 of those being huge saves by Kuzminski. I said, so Nashville's a little deflated going into the locker room, but they have an opportunity to regroup and try and convert the opportunities they've created.
This is an important 45 minutes for Nashville Soccer Club. These are the live standings. Right now, Nashville without a point tonight in these live standings. The teams in front of them are accumulating points. Tampa Bay leading, New York Red Bulls 2 leading, and Pittsburgh getting a win against Loudoun last night. This is a vital 45 minutes for Nashville SC if they have aspirations of being top of the table.
Oh, there's no doubt. Look how tight that is. 4 through 7 in there just fighting and biting and scratching. But then Nashville, if they can get 3 points tonight, they're going to put themselves 1 point out of Tampa Bay sitting in second, which is a huge step for them this evening.
And how about this? Indy 11, 2 points behind. They have played 5 less games than Nashville, including tonight. Well, Nashville, the road does not get easier. They go on the road to Tampa Bay and then St. Louis, which has historically been a difficult place to win. Then you get Birmingham, who's on a club record unbeaten streak, club record clean sheet streak, Pittsburgh, and then finally a reprieve a little bit on the road at Loudoun United. The deck is stacked against Nashville, making this close to this half even more important.
Oh, it's this 45 minutes is as big of a 45 minutes as Nashville's played this year. I know that they just stepped off the pitch on Wednesday night, deflated after a tough loss, playing for the first seed. But right now, they're biting and scratching to stay in the top 4, and that is equally as important right now.
Tall task tonight for Nashville, trailing 1-0 at intermission. Our halftime presented to you by Nissan. Our highlights in the second half kick are next from First Tennessee Park.
Hey, soccer fans, I'm meteorologist Justin Chambers. Hopefully you're enjoying the game, and we're talking about temperatures tonight when you leave for your drive home forecast in the lower 70s. Cloudy skies and mild temps, but we do have rain on the way, especially as we head into Sunday and Monday. You can see that here in our future track, waking up to some rain showers, off and on rain for Sunday afternoon, and then another chance for some rain as we head into early next week. So make sure to be prepared for that. Enjoy the rest of the game. It's our town, our club. Go Nashville Soccer Club.
Well, you cannot ask for better weather for a summer soccer match in Tennessee. And right now, the Charleston Battery, a 43rd minute goal from Kotaro Higashi. They lead 1-0 at halftime. Our halftime presented by Nissan. Welcome up to our broadcast booth at First Tennessee Park. John Freeman, Ronnie Woodard. We're going to get right to it. The teams are on the field ready to go. We'll get right to our highlights. And, well, it's going to start with a lot of Nashville highlights, and then it will finish with just one Charleston Battery highlight, which is all the Battery needed to go ahead.
Yeah, you're going to see a series of opportunities from Nashville, from Darnell King, from Justin Davis. Here's Ropapa Mensah lacing up Archer, getting a good look on frame, just a little bit wide. And here's Ropapa Mensah again, got in behind, took on Archer. Great save by Kuzminski. I love that shot from Lancaster. And then that first ball goes out of bounds. It's the first shot on frame. And there's the errant touch by Higachi. He's quick, he's tight, he's technical, and he got in between, ended up faced up on Jimmy Ockford, and puts that ball low into the far post. And we're down 1-0 at halftime.
The final highlight there, the goal from Kotaro Higashi. That is their only shot on target in this half. Ropapa Mensah, 23 touches, 5 shots. Will he break this goal drought of his that is stretched to 9 matches? Back underway, Nashville in gold, Charleston, the Battery visiting in white. Nashville will be attacking towards its supporters here in this second half, and they go right to work with Darnell King. Errant touch from Meloto. Pulled in by Tom Brian Anunga. Finds its way back to Meloto. Returning to defend was Higashi. Collecting the debris again was Higashi. So what does Nashville have to do, Ronnie? They'd love 2 goals. They got to start with 1 on a big night where 1 point would be a disappointment.
And I think that if you are going to be assessing the players on the field, Nashville has last year's Golden Boot winner in Cameron Lancaster. I think Cameron Lancaster needs the ball at his feet within striking distance. He needs to find himself in some open pockets so he can spin and put that ball in frame. Because we all know that Cameron Lancaster has the ability to strike from at least 20 to 25 yards on frame accurately and with pace. So I think the key is for LaGrassa and Bolu to keep the movement going, try to find Melodo, get Melodo and Lancaster to play as a pair and see if they can link up to isolate Lancaster to be able to strike a ball.
This is just the 5th time in 28 matches this season for Nashville SC in all competitions that they have trailed at halftime.
More touches for Cameron Lancaster is going to be a more effective attack for Nashville.
Here's Melodo urging his team forward. It's a meandering run. And turning is Higashi. There to cover was Bourgeois. LaGrassa's pass between King and Melodo. LaGrassa left momentarily in the first half. Took an elbow, unintentional one from Brian Anunga over his eye and was bleeding profusely. Bleeding has stopped and LaGrassa back out onto the field. LaGrassa. Lancaster in a rare realm there on the far sideline on the flank. Launched by Bourgeois. Mensah interested. It's fallen for Cameron Lancaster.
He wants that one back. Didn't quite get a whole piece of the ball as he had hoped. Bradley Bourgeois says, why not? Let's throw Ropapa Mensah. Ropapa Mensah does a good job of deflecting, and it comes straight into the path of Lancaster, which you want to see your 2 forwards, if you're playing in a 2-front, to be connected and to be able to play together. And that was it, although I'm not sure that's exactly how Ropapa Mensah wanted the ball to be delivered to him off of his right side. But he did a great job of bringing that ball down and laying it off for Cameron Lancaster for his first look on frame in the second half.
Remember, Nashville without Daniel Rios tonight. He was listed as questionable with a groin injury. Not in the 18, unavailable for selection. It's a flubbed clearance from Kuzminski. Grosso went crashing in to Angelo Kelly, and then Jimmy Ockford followed with a collision of his own. Guido Gonzalez wants to chat with Ockford. Captain Taylor Mueller over to discuss as well. Ockford has 2 yellow cards this season through 7 starts. And he escapes unpunished here in the 51st minute.
Although reprimanded.
Thoroughly.
Not only by Guido Gonzalez, but by Mueller.
Look, I know it's just the 51st minute, but that's a 1-minute segment right there that brings Charleston even closer to a road result. Sent hopefully high by Pickens. Cameron Lancaster Putting his head into a dangerous area. Wanted the high boot, did not get it from Guido Gonzalez, the center official. Zico Lewis. Nashville's high press results in a Charleston throw. Hey fans, Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Latching on is Melodo. Mensah spraying wide for Lancaster. Cuts it onto his left. Lost his footing slightly just for a second and allowed Jared Van Schaik to recover and defend.
It's unfortunate because he had runners in the box, and you can see the acknowledgement from Lancaster to Davis and Ropapa, who were crashing in and had good position inside of the box awaiting that service.
Charleston again able to work out of a tight area. It's Kelly. And now Mueller. Nelson, who made his professional soccer debut in Charleston's win earlier this year in Low Country. Darnell King, recruited forward by Mensah. It's King prospecting, turns inwards. Lancaster, now Mensah. Back for Lancaster. Can he turn here? Melodo in the area, and Kuzminski above the canopy. Gives us time to send it downfield level to our Kelly Glendenning, who had a chat with Gary Smith at halftime.
John, at halftime, coming out of the locker room, I just asked Gary Smith what his team needed to do in the second half and what his message to them in the locker room was. And he said, honestly, Kelly, we can't do anymore. He thought they were bright, that they were clicking well, and that the play is there. He said now it just comes down to mentality, and he really wants the spark to come from those two up top in Mensah and Lancaster. John?
Ronnie, just one opportunity for Charleston in the first half. They cashed in on it. Gary Smith wants more of the same. They did have chances, and we'd be thinking much differently about this match if Joe Kuzminski had not made a couple big saves there in that first 45.
Well, and that's the job of the goalkeeper, right? In simplest terms, why are the goalkeepers there? To pick up for other people's mistakes, right? And so Kuzminski did it, and he kept his team in the game, kept them in a situation, and with his performance, put them in a place where they could go ahead and put themselves in a place where they could win this game because of his play. And that's the job of a quality goalkeeper. And that's why Kuzminski is in the goal for Charleston day in and day out. It's because he's reliable and has the ability to make a big save.
Safety first from Anunga. Nashville does have several substitutes that could inject some pace into this match. Alan Wynn comes to mind, Carlton Belmar as well.
Don't forget Kosuke Kimura can run the flank and deliver a ball too. Yep, and Taylor Washington, as we can see.
As it stands right now around the USL, Nashville losing ground to Tampa and New York. New York #1 in the table and Tampa #2. Tampa leading 4-0 over Memphis in Florida. King. Lacrosse has moved forward. Touch was intended for Mensah. Nashville with its backs against the wall, but facing its supporters. Hey fans, the USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest level. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. Higashi was offside. Flag is up. There's the goal scorer, 43rd minute strike. his first of the season.
That's what happens when you put yourself in a good situation and you don't give up on a touch, or you don't give up in a situation where you're facing goal.
Nashville has only failed to score in 5 of 25 matches this year. Can they find a breakthrough? Melodo. Oh, sweetly worked that is to King. Now right on top, Ropapa Mintza, it's in! At last, liftoff in Tennessee. Nashville Soccer Club strikes this match level. Ropapa Mintza's 9 straight games without a goal streak is now over. 1-1.
So you can't see it in the beginning of the clip, but there's a combination between Darnell King gets up, plays the ball into Lebo Melodo, who lays it off with his heel right back to King in a 1-2, and King delivers a great ball, and Ropapa Mintza on the near post gets his head on the inside shoulder and finds his way into the back of the net, heads the ball down, finds his way in the back of the net. Well-deserved, well-earned finish by Ropapa Mintza. He's had an excellent game thus far and was certainly deserving of that. But the play of King and Lebo Melodo set up that goal for Ropapa Mintza.
And now Charleston looking to snatch the lead right back. It's Kelly, closed down by LaGrassa and slammed off of the body of Darnell King. Emphatic defending from Jimmy Ockford. Launched toward the rising smoke at the goal Nashville is trying to attack.
Nashville needed to get on the board early in this half, and they've accomplished that. That was imperative, because what you don't want to do is leave it until about the 79th, 80th minute, and all of a sudden you're still trailing because you didn't pick up the tempo of the game. So Nashville did a good job of establishing their presence in the beginning of this half.
Now there's questions of just who will get credit for this goal. Was Nelson and Mintza.
Oh.
Debates of, is that another own goal with Ropapa Mintza in the area?
It's difficult to tell because of the size of Nelson's hair, which I'm a fan of, just on a personal sense. However, it's difficult to tell if the ball came off of his head or Ropapa's because of the angle.
Glad we're getting your analysis on just about everything tonight. This is sent in towards Mintza with Kuzminski off his line. Soccer and style analysis.
We could comment on the new blonde hair of the Charleston Battery players, too.
Seems to be an epidemic.
It does.
From back to front, goalkeeper to forward.
Kuzminski's mustache even went from brown to blonde.
Melodo with room to turn. Nashville flooding forward. It's Lebo Melodo. Could not put the texture on the ball that a shot from that distance requires. Melodo a goal or an assist in 8 of his last 11 starts, and that one well wide.
Well, Lebo's prep touch was just lateral, and he couldn't get his hips around. If you're going to take a strike from distance, you have to get all the momentum and power you possibly can. So the prep touch has to be at a better angle towards your target as opposed to be laterally across your body. If that happens, you have to really spin your hips to get all the way around.
Svantesson sealed off by Akinyoti.
Good commitment to defending between Darnell King and Bradley Bourgeois. It's a great double, great attitude and mentality.
Cameron Lancaster has been sliced down to earth, and the yellow card out, hoisted by Guido Gonzalez into the masked face of Taylor Mueller. Lancaster returning from an ankle injury. There's a challenge, 9 in gold. Stepping on his ankle was Mueller.
Bottom of a boot to the ankle. Got him right down the heel, pulled his shoe off actually.
Well, Nashville SC's next home game will be on Tuesday, September 17th at First Tennessee Park against the Birmingham Legion. Single game tickets available online at NashvilleSC.com. So the captain into the book. Nashville has taken this set piece quickly and sent it wide. LaGrassa, well worked for Meloto with space. Room to deliver. Near post, it's Ockford. It's a nice scripted routine off of the free kick.
It was. Could have easily have just served that into the back post, but it was well done. I like LaGrassa starting in his high position and popping back to get that ball at his feet.
Lancaster's shot altered and out for a corner. Well, here's one of the advantages of starting Bradley Bourgeois at center back. One of the best leapers on the team. And Charleston need to fix this quickly. They're going to bring in some armor in just a second. A.J. Patterson will check in. But first, the Coca-Cola corner kick for Nashville in front of their supporters in the 63rd minute. Here it comes from Davis. Popped away by Lewis. Svantesson in pursuit. Challenge King into a foot race that King will always win. Oh, that slipped through. It's Lewis onside. Van Schaik with him. Down to the floor is Tribbett. It's still Lewis, and an emergency clearance from Matt LaGrassa to keep it level.
Matt LaGrassa's commitment to continuing to defend in that play just kept Nashville from being down 1-2. Tribbett does a great job. He goes to ground, makes a good tackle, but he gets up and he's not quick-footed enough to be able to retain that ball. But Matt LaGrassa started that defensive run from the other side of the midfield, and here he is continuing it on in behind his goalkeeper and protecting that goal. Fabulous mentality, commitment, grit. Can't say enough positive words about Matt LaGrassa keeping Nashville even at 1 because of that effort.
And our angles didn't necessarily show it, but the angle that we have here in the booth, that ball was going in. That was a goal.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Nashville will be down 2-1 right now.
So A.J. Patterson into the match. 23-year-old defender. Is the Coca-Cola corner kick for Charleston. And Mueller in support. Out for a goal kick.
The first break plate substitution for Charleston is number 20, A.J. Patterson, for number 14, Jared Van Schaik.
So A.J. Patterson taking out Jared Van Schaik. Van Schaik's night is done. Actually had a brace, 2 goals in his first game against Nashville. Only scored 1 goal since. And his luck against the boys in gold seems to have run out here. 65th minute. Papa Mensah has been a terror to this back line of Charleston. Cameron Lancaster still just looking for his moment of brilliance. Davis. Now Lancaster. Cross curled in towards Lebo Meloto. Can he slot this home? Tackle made and cleared away, but Nashville reloads. Lancaster, it's curled wide. 2 big knocks on the door, and Cameron Lancaster training his sights.
Again, both of these chances from Nashville are off of Cameron Lancaster. Right here, look at that bent ball. I mean, didn't quite get enough on it that he was looking for in the strike, but the right idea. But the ball that he played prior to that was a ball in to Lebo Meloto on that back post, who was wide open, and Lebo chose to take a touch and bring it down and try to take it off of his left foot. But the quality of the ball played in from Lancaster was very good.
Matt LaGrassa has just floored Nelson. And a yellow card out. No complaints from LaGrassa. And shoulder blades to the floor from a clearly shaken Nelson.
Well, LaGrassa came flying out of that midfield to press Nelson.
So LaGrassa with his 3rd yellow card of the season.
A lot of emotion in this attack from LaGrassa to get to this ball.
Ladies and gentlemen, yellow card caution has been issued by the referee at Nashville SC number 20.
I will say it looked a little worse live than it just did on the replay.
It was the velocity of the collision taken into account.
I think it was, and when it slowed down a bit and the angle was different on the replay, it didn't look as malicious as the initial contact did.
Svanteson has 1 out against Oxford. Anunga. Charleston makes something out of nothing like they did in the first half with Kotaro Higashi here. And away from Oxford. And Nashville fans, join us Saturday, August 31st for the official away match viewing party at Mill Creek 12 South. Next Saturday on the road at Tampa Bay. Team that was top of the table for much of the season until they've been displaced by New York Red Bulls too. Pickett. Batted around. Anunga closing in. Recovering was Akinyoti. Expertly lifted into the path of Justin Davis. Nelson has denied the supply line to Mensah. And here comes Patterson. There in just 1 second. Anunga afforded space to move into the attacking third. Higashi on the right wing. It's partially deflected towards Svanteson. Just needed a little touch. And easily into the hands of Pickens. Gives us a chance to send it down on the field. Our Kelly Glendenning. What do you have for us, Kelly?
John, I got stats from the first half, and distance covered the most for Nashville SC tonight was Matt LaGrassa in the midfield so far in the first half. For sprints, the most were taken by Darnell King, and he clocked in at 21.7 miles per hour. That is the fastest on the team tonight.
That's one of the fastest speeds we've had all year, and you got a little bit of a worry about Matt LaGrassa accumulating 70 miles, because remember, he's coming back from injury. May not be fully 90-minute fit, especially at this expenditure.
That's true. And he has been box to box so far in this match.
It's one of those nights, though, everybody's got to dig deep. They've already dug themselves out of a 1-0 hole. Here's Kelly with time, with room, and an idea. That barely bothers Pickens.
And the depth in the center of the midfield for Nashville is just not there right now. Without the services of Forrest Lasso tonight, Ken Tribbett, who had been moved into the midfield for the injured Michael Reed, has now been moved back into the back to fill the spot of Forrest Lasso, which leaves it a little bit thin in the center of the midfield for Nashville for their options. So I think, you know, coach is hopeful that he gets as many minutes as possible out of Matt LaGrassa, Lebo Moloto, and Akinyoti.
Faces you saw on the sideline were Taylor Washington and Carlton Belmar being prepared. Remember, Nashville also still has Alan Wynn in the stable on the sideline. Smelling salts in the hand of Taylor Washington. They sniff the smelling salts to make themselves more alert. If you've ever done it, you would know.
I've never done it.
Here's Akinyoti. Now Moloto with Mensah to his right. Waiting on the run from LaGrassa. Instead he goes centrally towards Moloto. Cut out by Archer. Charleston able to embark in the opposite direction at the feet of Kelly. One back. Nashville flooding forward. It's an important challenge from Patterson. King. Mensah onside. Flag is down. Auditioning Anunga. King. Meloto. Mensah. And again, up to the task, Leland Archer.
Leland Archer has had a very good game for Charleston today. He's been consistently in the right position there. He's dealt with an athletic and very strong Ropapa Mensah. He's managed and helped Mueller with the Lancaster threat that's in front of them.
So Taylor Washington. Did I see 15 on the board? He's taking out Jimmy Ockford.
The first breakpoint substitution for Nashville SC is number 23, Taylor Washington.
Well, taking out a center back, and Cameron Lancaster also out. That's more about fitness because Lancaster has not started a game since back in July and coming back from injury. But the substitution to take out Jimmy Ockford.
I am going to take a look here, but I think that means he's going into a 4-back. Let's see what he does. There's Washington in behind Davis right now as a left back.
I'll say this is a daring move from Gary Smith. We may find out later maybe Ockford had a knock or something to limit his participation at the finish, but really gutsy move by Gary Smith. He knows his team needs all 3 points.
He has. He's adjusted into a 4-back. If you look, Washington's come into the midfield. He's pulled Davis back.
Yeah, so Taylor Washington now your left mid.
King, you're right. Actually, he's remaining in that 3-back, but he's pulled Davis central and brought Washington in. So he's now playing with Davis, Bourgeois, and Tribbett in the back. Washington and King wide.
It's a fascinating move.
It's interesting, yes.
Expertly switched by Tribbett. Washington, the pasture in front of him. Meloto to accompany him. LaGrassa. Belmar. Mensah. Belmar wide for King. Can he trace this down? He can. Now Bourgeois. His cross into a dangerous area. It falls for Taylor Washington. Put it right back in front. The goalkeeper Kuzminski was out, and Tribbett left to defend against Fonteson.
Good delivery in. Ropapa was just distracting enough to Kuzminski to be able to get him off balance, but Taylor Washington was just not in the right spot, but he did a good job of keeping it alive and trying to put it back into the box.
Higashi thought he may have had the game winner until it was erased by Ropapa Mensah. '75th minute. Nashville has dominated this half. Although do not forget the goal line clearance required from Matt LaGrassa to deny Charleston of a clear opportunity. It's time to vote for today's Budweiser Man of the Match. Find the poll at the official Nashville SC Twitter account at Nashville SC.
So you know what's more interesting to me in that change by Gary Smith, and less about bringing in Washington and putting Davis in the back and taking Ockford out. We're still very consistent and tough defensively in the back, and Davis has played as one of those 3 in the past. The interesting part is Belmar as an addition to play in tandem with Ropapa Mensah up top. That's the interesting dynamic. We usually see Belmar as a wide flank player and a winger type personality, and now he's going to have to play with his back to goal.
Charleston's not necessarily bunkering down here. That's an offensive sub. Dante Marini in for Zico Lewis. Marini, a super sub. 3 of his 4 goals this season have come as a substitute.
It's time to vote for today's Budweiser Man of the
Here's Melodo. Chance here for Nashville. The cross comes in towards Mensah. It's fallen its way to Taylor Washington. Overlapping is Davis. The service comes back post. Belmar in the area. Leaping is Belmar. And included was Mensah, enough for Kuzminski to control the airspace. Belmar's restart not centrally located enough for Guido Gonzalez. Nashville pushing the issue. Trying to push Charleston to the brink. The substitute Washington puts his head down and roams. The cross is low and driven. Mensah loitering with intent. Heavy touch from Davis. Claimed by Marini. And away from Mueller. King grappling with Piggott and has fouled the Panamanian.
Oh, Darnell King just kind of bit in on the tackle, a little bit late. He looks innocent after the fouls occurred. But he most definitely got Pickett.
Kept in play by Washington. Now do not forget, Charleston very good late in games. 63% of their goals this year coming after the hour mark. Nashville can't get caught too far forward. Seen out by Patterson. Charleston is also master of draws. Second most in the entire 36-team league. 9 draws this year for Charleston. They have nicked points from all the teams in the top 5.
You know, as we discussed in the pregame, 3 points is the minimum that Nashville really needs to stay in contention.
Washington again has found a pocket of space. LaGrassa. Scouting options, Melodo. Popped up on the South African. Knotted down by LaGrassa. Belmar battling. Marini down, and away is Higashi. Here's Svanteson. Thumped in no particular direction. This is all happening in front of tonight's Ashton real estate attendance, 6,662. Nashville's 3rd game in a week. Their 2nd straight game at home. Bradley Bourgeois imploring his team forward. It's sent in towards Ropapa Mensah. Past his Ghanaian head. And pushed out by Kyle Nelson. Washington. The cross right on top. It's Lebo Melodo! Spilled but saved by Kuzminski.
The delivery by Taylor Washington was beautiful. Stutter step, big touch into the end line, drives that ball back to the top of the 18. Lebo Moloto strikes it first time. This is textbook. What a lovely placement. Look at that, on the second six, as you would call it. Right up there, right around the penalty spot, a little bit deeper. Lebo Moloto's timing was very good on his run, strikes it great.
Coca-Cola corner kick for Nashville. It's hooked in and pounded out to Matt LaGrassa. Being chased by Anunga. Another free kick for Nashville with a better angle on this one in the 81st minute. There's a Charleston player down off camera. Potential cramp from Kotaro Higashi.
Looks like he's holding his hamstring.
Charleston's goal scorer tonight down. Told Nashville preparing a substitution. This could be a problem for the Battery. It is Alan Wynn. There he is, the fastest step-for-step player on this Nashville team. Can the Texan provide the moment of magic that this Golden Soccer Club needs? He is fatigued. Reached deep into his endurance on Wednesday night against New York Red Bulls too.
But fresh legs of Alan Wynn with 10 minutes on the clock is exactly what Nashville needs right now. And exactly what Charleston doesn't want.
Yeah, so Nashville's going to add an arrow, and Charleston will add some armor. Nico Rittmeyer will come in, and Kotaro Higashi is finished, exiting with cramps. So there's Rittmeyer, the 25-year-old, played his college soccer at College of Charleston. And Alan Wynn will take out Darnell King. Again, Gary Smith is going for it here. The final 10 or so minutes, including stoppage time.
With the third and final break substitution for Nashville SC,
after all the exchanges, it is a set piece for Nashville Soccer Club. And here it comes. It's forwarded by Ropapa Mensah and just wide of the left post.
With their third and final break substitution.
He already has a goal tonight.
In swinger by Justin Davis, puts it in about on the PK spot. Again, right on to Ropapa Mensah. It's very interesting that Ropapa has been the target on all of these set pieces today. With heads like Tribbett and Bourgeois and Bolu in the mix, that's a true credit to Ropapa and his leaping ability and the trust that Nashville has on him to win balls in the box.
Well, he has been a problem from the opening whistle for Charleston. Coolly done by Anunga. The opposite from Nelson. LaGrassa chased down by Marini. Svantesson clattering into Tribbett. Now it's Marini lining up a drive and a save by Pickens. Sprawling save from Matt Pickens to keep us level. Well, out of nowhere, Charleston nearly goes ahead, and now Kent Tribbett.
Yeah, Tribbett can't be hurt right now. Nashville's used 3 subs.
He is their anchor of a center back.
So unfortunately, right before that, LaGrassa got caught in possession, and the fresh leg of Marino just stripped him, looked up, struck a ball on Pickens, and Pickens, being who Pickens is, makes an enormous save.
Does lead to the Coca-Cola corner kick. Leaks past everyone, traced down by Archer. Reinserted. Won cleanly by Belmar. The fans have voted. Tonight's Budweiser Man of the Match voted on by you. Number 3, Ropapa Mensah.
It's kind of easy choice tonight, wasn't it?
Has Nashville's goal. Nearly had a second just moments ago. Now Nashville's got to dig in and defend here. A rare but venomous venture forward from Charleston.
Well, and remember, end of the first half, very few times did Charleston get forward, but when they did, they were effective. You know, we haven't spoken about Bolu Akinyodi much today, but he has been rock solid defensively in the center of the midfield. His doubling ability to help the 3 center backs has been tremendous throughout the match, and he's kind of an unsung hero.
Marini, sliding challenge from Bourgeois. Well, Marini starting to make inroads. Find slivers of space on this Nashville defense.
Well, Marini is more than capable of netting a goal off of just very few touches.
Win hauled down by Marini. Busy night for Ropapa-Mensah. He wants just one more good look. Try and send Nashville in front. Crucial closing minutes in Nashville's final USL campaign. It's hoisted in towards Carlton Belmar. Pulled down from Maloto as he pushed in the back by Anunga. Guido Gonzalez says no. A few complaints from Maloto. His tank has got to be on empty after playing in all 3 games this week. Responsible defending from Belmar. Down the line from Kelly. Backwards from Davis to Pickens. Over the head of Belmar. Neither team is willing to settle for a point. Charleston wants this just as much as Nashville does. They have not bunkered in by any means.
Well, they're both in playoff situations. Charleston's playing to get in, and Nashville is playing to maintain and keep a top 4 seed, trying to win the league.
Ropapa-Mensah called for smashing in to Leland Archer. It's a high arm from Mensah. Washington with work to do. Really clever header back to Pickens, who ignites the counterattack with a thunderous throw towards Alan Wynn. Turning inward. A few gold numbers flooding forward. Hold up play from Belmar is good. Can they unlock this battery defense? Kelly. Rittmeyer went down softly, won back by Davis. Maloto charging through. Mensah back for Maloto as Mueller got a foot in. Maloto went spilling to the turf. Dug out by Mensah. Digging deeper is Belmar. It falls for Maloto. Flag is down. Lebo Maloto. They've done it. Deep in the Tennessee night. Lebo Maloto, no wait. They've called it off. The flag is raised now. Now the question is, was Maloto offside? He was in an offside position, but the second question is, did the battery knock it back to Maloto, or was it a Nashville teammate?
That's That's my question. Did it come off the defender?
Well,
one he got
is brought down there. Then it's a while for this replay. Here it is. That's off a battery player.
Off a battery player. That's off Mueller.
This is the second straight game that Nashville has been involved in a controversial officiating decision. And Patterson is crossed towards Svanteson, turned out by Tribbett. The flag also came up exceptionally late.
Well, the celebration was well in hand by the time the flag even came up. It was as if there was time to reconsider. But there's no doubt on that replay that ball came off of Mueller. Moloto was in an offside position. That ball deflected from Mueller.
Now Nashville with defending to do. It's Ken Tribbett. Moloto chasing. He is on empty. Should have had the winner. Now Alan Wynn down. Friendly fire with Bradley Bourgeois. And Charleston can nick it here at the death. It's Piggott. Intended for Anunga. The door slammed by Akinyoti. Oh, there will be much to talk about after this match. A sure winner from Lebo Moloto, wiped out. It was a combination. The assistant referee did not raise her flag for the longest time. Once the celebration ensued, then the flag came up. Guido Gonzalez still could have overridden the call, saying that it was off of a battery player going to Moloto. And it was an incredibly long sequence of decision making.
There was much contemplation between.
And the fans will be enraged because they're also going to go back saying,
Sure.
Well, the red card on a Wednesday night that altered the match, DeForest Lasso, also went against Nashville. Can Nashville nick one here? That's where Papa Mensah is pulled down the defender, Archer.
Did you see that recovery speed by Archer? That was tremendous. Where Papa had a solid 10 to 15 yards on him, and Archer caught him with ease.
Moloto. Maybe one last chance for Nashville. They send everybody forward. It's at the feet of Carlton Belmar. The cross in, destroyed by Archer. We all look at Guido Gonzalez. He takes a look at his watch. He's going to allow Nashville another opportunity. Alan Wynn requesting to take the throw. Belmar. It's altered. Moloto bringing it down. Washington heading it. Turning is Akinyoti! They'll never quit! Boys in gold never quit! Press their backs against the wall, and they will bare their fangs and bite. Bolu Akinyoti delivers. He only scores goals that shake the earth. He saved this match. He saved the referees. And Nashville on the verge of 3 massive points from the most unlikely of sources.
The ball served in by Belmar. It's kept alive by Lebo Moloto. Kept alive again by Ken Tribbett. Turns from Bolu Akinyoti. Let's take one more look at this. Ball comes back, and it's a 1-2 from Wynn to Belmar. Comes in behind. It's slightly touched by Lebo Moloto. Ken Tribbett keeps it alive off his head, but Bolu Akinyoti turns and strikes the ball on frame, and that's 3 points for Nashville.
Somehow, some way, Nashville Soccer Club has manufactured 3 points tonight against Charleston. There is the hero, Bolu Akinyodi. They were pushed to the brink, a comeback victory. And has Bolu Akinyodi saved Nashville's title race? Mike Anhauser furious at Guido Gonzalez when he watches the replay. His temper may subside. What was a sure winner for Nashville erased by a controversial call. And then Bolu Akinyodi at the death.
We just talked about the game that Bolu Akinyodi had and the amount of mileage that he covered in the center of the field. His defensive presence today was tremendous and an integral part of Nashville's success in holding down and keeping Charleston in check.
Bolu Akinyodi, the game winner. Past added time, Nashville SC wins it 2-1. Still plenty more to talk about in this one. Here is the goal that removed all the gravity from the supporters section. Bolu Akinyodi, the game winner. We'll be back in a moment from First Tennessee Park. A wild night at First Tennessee Park. Nashville SC trailed 1-0 at halftime. Somehow, some way, they win 2-1 over the Charleston Battery. We'd like to thank our corporate partners, Nissan, Vanderbilt Health, Dex Imaging, Budweiser, Puckett's, Kroger, Coca-Cola, MyTV30, and Fox 17. I'm John Freeman, joined by Ronnie Woodard. It was a miraculous finish. First of all, Nashville thought they had the winner with Lebo Maloto late in the match. Wiped out because what we saw in replay, an incorrect offside call. You figured, okay, we're just headed down to a really sour 1-1 draw here at First Tennessee Park. And then this happen. Bolu Akinyodi scores the goal to send the supporters into a frenzy past the added time. Added time to added time. And First Tennessee Park erupts.
That's right, 93 plus minutes. But let's talk about who kept that ball alive too, was Tribbett.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and take a look at the replays of the mad scramble that led to the game-winning goal.
That's Tribbett keeping it alive. Bolu takes 2 touches, turns, strikes the ball. It's definitely redirected.
Now here's the question
There's
on whether it's
Tribbett.
an own goal or not. If this is on frame leaving Akinyodi's foot, it will be his goal.
That's an.
There's room for interpretation.
I think it could be an own goal off of Nelson.
Now, if he has Bolu, it's like, well, it was going to curl into that left corner.
Absolutely, absolutely. Nashville fans, that is an excellent goal by Bolu Akinyodi. But whether he gets credit or it's an own goal, it's Bolu Akinyodi's effort that put that ball in the back of the net. Tribbett keeps it alive off of his head, diving head ball to keep it alive. Then Bolu takes it off his thigh, or off his chest, off his thigh, spins his body, gets all the way around and manages to strike a clean ball on frame, making it very dangerous. And so either way you look at, Tribbett and Bolu are the heroes in this situation because it counts. It doesn't matter if it hit Nelson last or not. It's a game-winning goal and Nashville gets 3 points, and Tribbett and Bolu did exactly what they needed to do inside the box with no time left.
In Nashville, in a week where they played 3 matches, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, 6 points in the end. Pushed to the absolute limit. They emptied their tanks tonight, and they get the 2-1 win. And one of the reasons why is Matt Pickens had to make just a few saves, but the ones that he had to make were vital in getting this result for Nashville Soccer Club. There was a couple chances in this second half where Charleston looked like they were going to go ahead. It's Dante Marini off the bench and flying objections from Matt Pickens.
That's an even better save when you watch it from behind. Matt Pickens fully extended. Marino finds 100% of the ball, puts it on frame, strikes it well. It's going far post up Hernani. Matt Pickens leaves, fully extends, and gets a top hand save to keep the game tied for Nashville. That's an enormous save by Matt Pickens.
And as we heap praise on Nashville's courageous players, how about Gary Smith? He took out a center back, his best center back available in Jimmy Ockford, and went for this game. And essentially, Nashville scored 2 goals down the finish. One was wiped out, but nevertheless, it was a gutsy move by a coach, and it paid off. He took a risk, gambled, Nashville wins 2-1.
Well, they were solid. You know, Bolu Akinyodi and LaGrassa were covering a tremendous amount of ground because when you're playing in a 3-back, right, you've got to have that active midfield doing the work. And with an engine like LaGrassa and the defensive principles that Bolu showed today, they did so much work in the midfield to slow down Charleston's attack that it allowed Gary to be able to make that decision and bring in some fresh legs on the flank and add in a Carlton Belmar up top to keep it spicy up top, for a lack of a better words. But it kept them honest because of the pace that was thrown at them.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats in this match. Nashville, you would certainly be able to make the argument they deserved this one, outshooting Charleston 20-9. Pretty much every category doubling up, if not more, Charleston, and they finally get that winner late.
Well, and you know, the only thing that they're close in is possession. But really, if you're going to break the possession down, let's talk about where Nashville had possession, in the middle to the final third, as opposed to where Charleston had some possession, which was the back in the middle third. Far more dangerous, far more purpose in the possession of Nashville than in Charleston Battery tonight. Definitely a well-earned 3 points by Nashville Soccer Club tonight.
So let's go ahead and take a look at the live table. Well, Nashville would be at 46 points if not for the late game heroics from Bolu Akinyodi. And even if they had drawn this game, you look at some of the teams below them, it's like, oh no, we're in a race here, not just for top 4, but also trying to avoid even the 6th or 7th spot. Indy having games in hand, Pittsburgh charging up the table, North Carolina FC, well, they had a big win on Wednesday, they lose today. This is such a crowded table that moments like what we just saw completely shape the direction of the season.
Well, it's a volatile environment. Look at it. I mean, it is points separating so many of the bulk of the middle of this group. And it's moving time in the conference. Everybody is feeling a sense of urgency. Every game gets a little bit more important. We're not early in the season where if you drop a game, you know you can pick up a point here or there. You're in go time here, and everyone is playing to advance.
And it is all aboard now, this Nashville Soccer Club 2019 season. 8 games left in the regular season. 5 of them will be at First Tennessee Park. The next 2, however, on the road in Nashville, back in action on Saturday night at second place Tampa Bay. The games just keep getting bigger as we go along. But tonight was one to remember. Nashville SC 2-1 victors over the Charleston Battery. Bolu Akinyodi in stoppage time with the game winner. The Battery, well, they are a club that is defined by their city of defiance, and they played the part tonight, but Nashville found the breakthrough late, and they get all 3 points tonight in Middle Tennessee. For Ronnie Woodard and our broadcast crew, I'm John Freeman saying so long. We will talk to you on My TV 30 on Saturday night, Nashville versus Tampa, a week away.